What is going on, guys? It's your boy DylanDaVillain with my good friend
Wutai.
And we're here and we're going to do something a little bit new, I guess. We are going to review or start reviewing the pay-per-views that WWE hold every month. The first one being Crown Jewel. We just got done watching Crown Jewel. This is Wutai's first real WWE pay-per-view that he's watched in a long time.
Yeah, I don't think the last one I watched was when I was probably 8 or 9.
8 or 9. That's not giving away your age, but that's been quite some time.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and start the review of Crown Jewel. If you like this type of stuff, leave a like, leave a comment down below. Let us know that you like this type of stuff and you want to see more. If y'all don't like it and y'all don't want to see it, then let us know. The first match of the night was Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Two powerhouse competitors in the World Wrestling Entertainment. I almost said World Wrestling Federation. The World Wrestling Entertainment, the WWE. Two powerhouse men. This is pretty much a dream match of any WWE fan. We have been waiting to see these two men collide for a very, 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 very long time. I was actually quite surprised that this match opened up the show. Wutai, any thoughts about them two opening up the show?
Well, considering I haven't watched WWE in a long time, but it was a good match.
Yes, it was a good match. Bobby Lashley took to the offensive early on, before the bell even rung. He speared Brock Lesnar through the barricade. Pretty much got complete offense in on Brock Lesnar. But we've seen these type of matches with Brock Lesnar before. The opponent comes out, attacks Brock Lesnar, pretty much beats Brock Lesnar up, and Brock Lesnar does a couple suplexes, F5, 1, 2, 3, and the match is over. But after the match, Bobby Lashley put the Hurt Lock on him, basically laying foundation that this rivalry is far from over. I enjoyed the match. How are we going to rate these? Grades? Are we going to give it an A, B, C, D?
I don't know. How about we do a 1 out of 5?
1 out of 5 stars?
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer. We're going to give Dave Meltzer reviews. I give it a 3.5. It was a good little opening matchup. Definitely was expecting more out of this. I mean, like I was saying, this is a big fantasy match for fans, and I felt like they could have gave more. They could have did more, but they're probably going to save that for the big payoff.
I called this match, didn't I?
Yes. Wutai pretty much called every match, but I believe one without even watching the product. You've called. You were just like, I believe this guy's gonna win. I believe this guy's gonna win. You called a lot of the matches here tonight.
I called 3 of them.
Yes. What do you give it out of 5?
I give it a 4.
A 4? Not bad rating.
I was pretty entertained being the first match that actually went on, and it got my attention, and I was playing the game during the time, and it caught my eye, and I just kept watching it, and
yes,
it took me forever to do what I was doing.
Yes. Yeah, he was in the middle of gaming, and I put it on, and we started watching it, and he ended up putting his game down and started watching the pay-per-view at that point. And it caught his attention. It was a good opening matchup. I was just surprised that it opened the show. I shouldn't say shocked, but I was expecting maybe Braun and Omos opening up the show are the OC versus the Judgment Day to open up the show. But it was a good way to open up the show. But you give it a 4. I give it a 3. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. 4 for you.
Yeah.
4 for Scott Wutai. It was a good opening match, like I said, and we're going to move on to the next match, which is the Women's Tag Team Championship matchup. The second matchup of the night was the Women's Tag Team Championship matchup. I actually really enjoyed this matchup.
I really did too.
They really delivered tonight with this matchup. You've called it. I got it wrong. I thought the Alexa Bliss and Asuka was going to keep the championships, but Damage Control ended up winning, and you called it. You were just like, oh, I think they're going to win, and you end up calling it, which I believe somehow, some way, you've secretly watching Monday Night Raw without telling me that you're watching Monday Night Raw. But Nikki Cross came out and cost Alexa Bliss and Asuka the match, letting Damage Control pick up the win and winning back their women's tag team championships that they lost on Monday Night Raw. I did not think they were going to switch the titles back that fast, give it back to them.
Yeah, because they only had it for, what, a week, they said?
Not even that. Not even that. They won it Monday on Raw, and the pay-per-view was Saturday. So, not even, probably about 6 whole days, if that, 5 to 6 days, they were champion. But before the match, when Asuka and Alexa Bliss was doing the interview, we seen the Bray Wyatt logo pop up on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
And Alexa Bliss kind of freaked out about it a little bit. As we know, Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt has history. Alexa Bliss turned on Bray Wyatt and cost him a match against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And she kind of became like the female Fiend for a little while. I wouldn't necessarily say Fiend, but like she had the same kind of gimmick that Bray Wyatt was doing for a little while. Maybe this is shades of something that they're going to do in the future with Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. We're going to have to keep an eye out for that one. We have more about Bray Wyatt coming up. But yeah, man, that was this match was an absolute banger. An absolute banger. I wouldn't necessarily give it a 5. I don't think it was the best match of the night. I'll say when the best match of the night, in my opinion, comes up. But it is definitely the second best match of the night.
Yeah, definitely was the second best. If
I
I had to rearrange my order,
yes,
I would choose.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely the second best match of the night. I highly recommend going and finding this match. These women tore the house down, man. They really did a fantastic job doing that. Rating. What do you give it, Sky? Rating wise.
It was very good. I would probably give it a 4 also.
Yeah, I would give it a 4. 4.5, 4. Definitely a good match. I highly recommend going and finding this match and giving it a watch. It was a really good match. I wish I can show highlights of the match and we can talk about that, but I don't want to get the video copyrighted, so we can't do that, sadly. But there were some spots in the match that were just really cool, made the crowd pop. The double suplex to Alexa Bliss and Asuka powerbomb both of them.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool little spot. The crowd popped for that. They really liked that spot. And man, yeah, it was really, 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 really good match. I can't hype it up enough. Y'all should definitely go give this one a watch. The next match up is Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a steel cage match up. This matchup is Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. I'm just gonna get right to it. I didn't like the ending of the match.
I didn't either.
It was pretty funny when Scarlett sprayed Drew McIntyre, well, not Drew McIntyre, but the referee in the face with the hairspray too, or the liquid or whatever she had. That was pretty funny. Me and you both chuckled at that. That was pretty hilarious. Just goes to show our sense of humor on that one. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the one guy climbing out of the cage while the other guy's trying to crawl through the door. You know, never been a big fan of that in wrestling matches. I've never cared for it. But these two guys went at it, though. These two guys definitely went at it. There was some cool little spots. Drew McIntyre was gonna suplex Karrion Kross off the top rope, and Karrion Kross hit him, sending Drew McIntyre into like a tree of woe, and then he popped up and like flipped him off the rope, like off the top. That was a cool little spot. And Karrion Kross was trying to climb out, and Drew McIntyre caught him and suplexed him from, like, I wouldn't say the top of the cage, but like Karrion Kross was like hanging from the top, and Drew McIntyre like suplexed him back into the ring. A lot of big spots like that. Two big guys. I wouldn't say not Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar big, but these are two pretty built guys. And they had a good matchup. Rating wise for me, Sky, I would give it a 3.
Yeah, that's
I would give it a 3.
Go. But I did call this match also.
Yes, Sky said that Drew McIntyre was going to win. He thought Drew McIntyre was going to win. I thought they were going to give it to Kross, but like the Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar feud, I guess they are going to continue on with the storyline moving forward. Both men have a win. Karrion Kross picked up a win at Extreme Rules last month, and Drew McIntyre basically gets his win back, making it 1-1. This is not the last time we're going to see these two guys go at it. So they are definitely probably going to have another match in the future. Wade Barrett gave me a chuckle talking about Scarlett and said that she looked like a female Pinhead from Hellraiser because she had the spikes all over the face, and that gave me a chuckle. We both give the match a 3. Nothing too spectacular. There was a couple big spots in the matchup. Nothing too spectacular. But it was a good matchup. Both men now 1-1 on their feud, and this is definitely not the last time we will be seeing them go at it. The next match up is the OC versus the Judgment Day. And our next matchup is the OC versus the Judgment Day. This is one of the few matches that you've picked wrong. You thought the OC was going to pull off the victory on this one. I'm not the biggest fan of the Judgment Day, but as Sky Wutai heard me talk about the whole match, I am a huge fan of one of the members of the Judgment Day. Not going to say who, but they were at ringside. I'll put it that way. And I'm a fan of Finn Balor, but I like AJ Styles, man. AJ Styles has always been my dude since day one. Love me some AJ Styles. This match was a pretty cool triple threat match, three-man tag team matchup. My God, Sky, slap me in the face, why don't you?
I can't reach.
And a three-man tag team matchup between two factions. The match was okay. It was an average match. They like the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross match. They had a couple big spots. Nothing too spectacular. Nothing that made me go, holy crap, that was awesome. Except for one thing. Just like the women's tag team matchup. I don't know if they recently started doing this now that Triple H is booking and Vince McMahon's not in charge of booking and screaming in the headset. But they are acknowledging the Bullet Club. That 4 of the 6 men involved in this matchup were members of the Bullet Club at one point in New Japan. And they talked about Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson being IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions in New Japan. It talked about AJ Styles being Heavyweight Champion, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. They talked about Finn Balor being the leader of the Bullet Club, and then Finn coming to WWE, and then AJ taking his spot as the leader of the Bullet Club. It popped me. Being a fan of the WWE, and I'm so used to them not talking about it, not mentioning New Japan and other promotions, man. And to me, that it popped me. I was sitting there giggling like a high school girl at a Backstreet Boys concert. I was all, I can't believe
it. You even jumped up at one point.
Yeah, I was like, I can't believe they're mentioning this. Like, it just blew my mind. Enough of that. We got to talk about the matchup. Nothing too memorable about this match. It was a good match, but nothing that pops out as like, oh man, that was cool. Like there's one big spot to where one of them suplexed the other guy. I can't remember. That's horrible. One of them got suplexed off the top rope while the other 2 members of the team had another guy up on the shoulders, and they all fell at the same time perfectly. And that's something hard to pull off because there's always one guy who lags behind. Like, it's never perfect. But they all, boom, hit the mat at the same time. Pop the fans. The Saudi Arabian fans really like the turnbuckle spots, going off the top rope and suplexes and stuff like that. They really popped for that. But other than that, man, there was nothing too nothing too out of the ordinary, that will stick out. But rating wise, I give it a 2.5, maybe a 3. It was okay. It was okay. Sky, what do you think?
I give it about a 2.
About a 2? Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. We move on to the Braun Strowman versus Omos match. I knew that Braun was going to pick up the win here. Braun just came back. He's been building that momentum ever since coming back. He's trying to reestablish himself as the monster among men, and what better way to do that than beat a behemoth of a man like Almas, which Michael Cole said it on commentary right after I said it, and I was just like, Almas is so freaking huge. He makes Braun Strowman, of all people, look like a normal man. And we're talking about Braun Strowman, a guy who's 6'8", 300 and something pounds. But Almas is, what, 7'4"?
7'3".
7'3", and they said he was like 426 pounds or something like that.
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure me and Sky has the same opinion on this matchup. So I'll let Sky Wutai say his opinion on this matchup.
I give it a 1 because I expected a lot more out of two big giant guys.
Yes.
They're both really tall, extremely bulk. But I expected way more stuff coming out of this match than anything else.
Yeah, same here. I was expecting a hoss fight. But Omos is, like Jim Cornette likes to say, he's greener than moose shit. He really hasn't... He's a lot better than what he was when he started. I'll give him credit to where credit's due, but he's still... He has that great Khali syndrome, to where he's so big that he's kind of... He really can't move around in the ring, just because he's so big. Which is terrible. If this guy can find his footing, so to say, I definitely see Almas being a champion. Maybe not a world champion, but a champion in the future, definitely. But he has that great Khali syndrome. He's just so big that he looks like they really didn't do like some big spectacular moves in the matchup. Braun pretty much did most of the work in the matchup. They started the match with a power of strength, and Almas did a whole bunch of punches and chops and stuff like that. He did do one move to where he threw Braun Strowman against the ropes. Like he hit Braun Strowman hit a knee, and then Almas came off the ropes and like kind of gave him like a big boot in the head. That was pretty good. Strowman tried to do the train barrel roll that he does on the outside of the ring, but Almas stopped that. Braun Strowman then, they started grappling, started brawling a little bit, and Braun Strowman just picked him up with the Oklahoma Slam, and boom, hit him 1, 2, 3. I'm with Sky Wutai on this one. I give it a 1, maybe a 2. I was expecting a little bit more out of this. I was expecting not a wrestling match. I was expecting a brawl, kind of like with the Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley matchup. I was expecting a little bit more. Maybe I had my hopes too high for this one. I was definitely expecting a little bit more, but it just didn't deliver. I'll put it that way. Me personally, I didn't see this storyline continuing. Maybe it will, but me personally, I think it's just a match to get Braun Strowman some momentum and give him some momentum for his next opponent on this one. I give it a 1 or a 2 at the most, maybe a 1.5. I'll be generous, a 1.5.
Let's stick at my 1.
You're gonna stick with your 1. Even though this match didn't deliver, the next match definitely delivered. and that is the undisputed tag team championship match between the Usos and the Brawling Brutes. This matchup between the Usos and the Brawling Brutes definitely delivered. This was a awesome matchup for sure. I enjoyed this matchup. I definitely enjoyed this matchup. It is a very close tie for match of the night, in my opinion. It very close. Maybe a tie with the women's tag team titles on this one. I give it a 4.5. It was very fun, very entertaining. The start of the matchup, the Usos, being the typical heels that they are, said, you know what? We can't lose the titles if we get counted out. So they just jumped off. They got out of the ring, jumped off the apron, grabbed their belts, and they were going to leave. But the Brawling Brutes then ran up from behind them and attacked them. There was, man, he goes by Butch now, but Pete Dunne, man. Technical dude. Putting in a lot of locks and holds, working body parts. Very reminiscent of William Regal, his fighting style. And, man, he really put in work here tonight. Usos, like always, they're putting in work tonight. Scott called this match. He said the Usos were going to win. I believe the Usos were also going to pick up the victory tonight. They're definitely building up to the New Day versus the Bloodline. The Usos for that WWE Tag Team Championship reign. Who has the longest reign? I believe the Usos are a few days away from breaking that record, and they're going to make a big storyline out of that for sure with the New Day, and that's definitely going to be the big payoff matchup. If the Usos do lose the title, I believe they're going to lose the title to the New Day. Yeah, but I give this match a 4.5 at the most. Definitely tied for match of the night. Definitely tied for match of the night with the women's tag team titles. Both tag team matchups did outstanding. I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it, and I'm actually quite happy that a lot of the tag teams are actually getting a lot of shine here lately, and being able to show that tag team matches can be entertaining. You know, whoever thought tag team wrestling was not entertaining definitely needs to go back and watch some Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express. That's the Freebirds versus the Von Erichs, man. That is some tag team wrestling at its finest, and these guys definitely delivered. The Usos picked up the win after they did a 1D on Pete Dunne, which they set it up a little bit weird. Jey Uso, his shirt was ripped off and around his ankles, and Pete Dunne was on the turnbuckle. Jay then climbs up and he goes to suplex him, but he grabs his legs, and then Jimmy runs in and boom, hits the cutter. 1, 2, 3. The Usos retain their title. Scott, what do you give this matchup? I've been gibbering about this matchup.
I gave it about a 4.
About a 4? About a 4. I give it a 4, 4.5. Like I was saying. But the next matchup, for sure, was definitely match of the night. Definitely match of the night. The next matchup is definitely match of the night, and that belongs to the Raw Women's Championship match. This match was definitely match of the night. It was kind of ruined a little bit due to multiple reasons. The Saudi Arabian crowd booed like the whole match. I wouldn't say necessarily the whole match. At one point they were chanting for "Let's Go Bayley," and some of them were chanting for Bianca Belair. You've called this matchup right. You said that Bianca Belair was going to win this matchup. I figured Bayley was going to win it because Damage Control won the tag team titles. So I thought they were going to give the title to Bayley, but I guess this feud is far from over. I guess they're...
Now, all I have to say is it's not who I wanted to win.
Yeah.
But...
Yes, I do remember you saying that you wanted Bayley to win, but you thought you knew that Bianca was going to pick up the victory.
Yeah.
No. They went at it, man. There were some crazy spots in the matchup. A golf cart was used. Yeah, you heard that correctly. For those of y'all who did not watch the pay-per-view, a golf cart was used. What other crazy spots? Man, there was that one spot.
The bamboo swords.
Yeah, the kendo sticks.
Chairs. A ladder.
Everything but the kitchen sink. I'll put it that way.
Table.
Oh man, yeah. The that one spot where Bianca was gonna pull Bayley from off the top of the golf cart and land on the table, but she hit the table and like bounced off of it.
Oh, you had to know that hurt.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Like her whole like tailbone just like hit the table and she just went ba-kunk and bounced off of it. Made me cringe. I was just like, oh my god. Like I know it hurts 100 times more when the table does not break, because you know that is it wasn't rigged to break. You know, they probably didn't rig it properly for it to break like it was supposed to. But Bayley hit that and boom, and fell off. That was close to the end of the match. The one spot that had me worried was, you remember when they were coming back down the ramp and Bayley tripped and hit like her ankle?
She fell off the ramp a little bit.
Yeah, and it looked like she twisted her ankle real bad to the point that the referee ran up and Bianca was going to run up and the referee like shoved her off and was just like, stay back. And like the referee kept talking to Bayley and it looked like she got injured. And I was just like, oh man, that's terrible, because like they're tearing down the house, man. Like I didn't want to see the match end due to injury. And Bayley, being the typical heel that she is, did the little sneak attack when Bianca wasn't expecting it. And Bayley just jumped right up and elbowed her right in the face. Good stuff on that one. The finish of the match, though. The finish. Do you want to talk about the finish?
I can tell you right now, I definitely hated the finish.
Yes, I did not like the finish at all. I understand why they did the finish the way that they did. This rivalry is definitely not over. Just like the Brock Lesnar match. Just like the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross match. Just like the OC versus Judgment Day match. Like, I wouldn't... This pay-per-view definitely had a WrestleMania feel to it, like every Crown Jewel. You know, it's... They try to make it larger than life for the Saudi Arabian fans, but, like, this was definitely a filler pay-per-view. Without a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, it was definitely a filler pay-per-view, continuing on stories and continuing to tell stories, but without completely ruining the match. The match wasn't the match of the night. It was match of the night. It was the best match of the night, in my opinion. Sky, same for you.
Oh yeah, I give it a 5.
Yeah, it's definitely 5. If we can only give one match a 5-star rating out of the pay-per-view, this is definitely match of the night. These two women tore it down. The women definitely delivered on the pay-per-view. They showed the Saudi Arabian fans that women can actually go, that women are rough and tough, and they can actually go. Oh man, almost forgot. What about that spot where Bianca Belair was about to do her finishing move, and she slammed it on Bayley's knee, knowing that Bayley has a history of knee injuries?
Oh yeah, I
and
remember that.
And she did like a I can't remember what she calls her finishing move. Sadly, I can't remember what Bianca Belair calls her finish. It's kind of like a burning hammer type thing, and she slung Bayley, and Bayley's leg just hit like the very tip top of the chair. She set it up in a sitting position, and she was going to slam Bayley onto it in a sitting position, and it just cracked her right in the knee. That made me cringe. But the finish of the match, I was really hoping to see somebody not beat the count of 10. Basically, I wanted to see these two women go at it and beat the holy hell out of each other until one of them can't get up. But I should expect the finish was going to be what they like to call a dusty finish, you know. A gimmick finish to where somebody gets pinned down underneath something and they can't get back up type thing. But it was definitely match of the night. A 5-star for me. Sky.
Definitely a 5 for me.
Definitely.
I enjoyed that match so well.
Yes. We can't hype this match up enough. I would say if you have Peacock, I highly recommend watching this match, the women's tag team match, and the Uso versus the Brawling Brute match. Were definitely neck and neck on how good they were, just by storytelling and the athleticism shown in the matchup. Man, these women definitely delivered. Bianca Belair still the Raw Women's Champion. But before we move to the Roman Reigns Logan Paul matchup, we had a Bray Wyatt promo. Bray Wyatt comes out to his new theme song. I like his new theme song, but like it doesn't fit the. It's Bray Wyatt being. It's Wyndham Rotunda being Wyndham Rotunda, you know. He's a fan of that type of music. I'm a huge fan of heavy metal. Any of my friends can definitely tell you that I'm a huge fan of heavy metal. Agent Orange, Code Orange or Agent Orange does his new theme music. The piano playing in the beginning of the music is pretty cool. But it just doesn't fit, you know, like his original theme song was very soft and melodic, and it just went well the way that he walked to the ring with the lantern and people in the crowd with their phones out, and everything like that. But enough of me ranting about that. The Bray Wyatt promo, he comes to the ring and he cuts a pretty good promo. I mean, it's Bray Wyatt. He's known to cut some good promos here. He basically talks about he comes from a very prestigious wrestling family, and he set out to be the greatest of all of them, which he has, you know. In my opinion, he's I believe him and his uncle Wyndham are the only ones who won World Heavyweight Championships, if I'm not mistaken. But Bray cuts a promo talking about he comes from a wrestling family, and he set out to be the best out of all of them. He set out to be the greatest. He wants people, you know, even if he wasn't wrestling tonight, he wants people to remember his name, Bray Wyatt. And he says his name a couple times. He says Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt. He quits his promo, and then all of a sudden, we get the typical, which I believe he's calling himself Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy comes on the screen. Uncle Howdy cuts a promo. He talks about Bray hiding behind a mask, and no matter how much Bray runs from it, no matter how much Bray suppresses his anger and all the memories of being the Fiend, that he can never run from that. That no matter what Bray Wyatt does, or the story that he wants to tell, or the ending of his story that he wants to tell, the Fiend is just as much as a part of him as Wyndham Rotunda is. And Uncle Howdy says it doesn't matter. You can't hide. You know, you can't hide who you are, pretty much. Awesome promo. Typical build up to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is probably the only guy I know in professional wrestling right now who can pretty much have a feud with himself. I mean, you know, he's been cutting promo week after week, and it's been some pretty entertaining shit. And like Vince likes to say, it's good shit. But it was very entertaining. You know, the build up that's going on. I can't wait to see. There's been rumors and reports. There seems to be a woman in a mask in some of the images that they show and everything like that. And it seems to be a woman in a mask. We don't know who the woman is. We don't even know who Uncle Howdy is. There's a lot of rumors and reports saying that it's Bo Dallas. I was a big fan of Bo Dallas in NXT. I loved Bo Dallas in NXT in the original NXT days. I was a Bo Leaver. I had a Bo Dallas t-shirt that said Believe, and on the back it says that's all you have to do. I was a huge advocate for Bo Dallas. If it is Bo Dallas, man, I can't wait to see what's in store for Bray Wyatt and his character moving forward. We totally missed one of the cool things that they had tonight. They had over 2,000 drones flying in the sky. And every time somebody would walk out, the drones would make like their logo or something like that. And when Bray Wyatt came out, they did his new Wyatt 6 logo, which looked really cool. And Sky pointed out that on the left-hand side of it, some of the drones were starting to go out. Some of the lights wasn't working, and they were flickering and everything like that, while all the other ones were working. But, man, those drones, they spent a lot of money to make this feel like a WrestleMania level event. I'll give it that way. Awesome promo by Bray Wyatt. If I had to give it a rating, it's a 5. I mean, it's Bray Wyatt, you know. Sky?
Give it a 5.
You give it a 5?
Yeah.
We're going to move on to our main event of the night. Roman Reigns, the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns defending his championship titles against Logan Paul. Yep. We move on to tonight's main event of the Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. Before I give my personal opinions on the matchup, the match was good. I was quite surprised. Logan Paul he did pretty good. He surprised me. Just like when he wrestled with the Miz. He surprised me. I will give him credit to where credit's due, but I am not a big fan of Logan Paul. I do not like Logan Paul, and I don't like his brother Jake Paul. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not a big fan of him. His entrance was kind of weird. He came down on like a skylift type thing, and he had his cell phone out, and he was recording himself on his cell phone coming down, and he walked to the ring and stuff like that. There was a spot in the match to where Roman was on the table, and he got his cell phone again and did like a leapfrog type frog splash type thing to Roman on the table while holding his phone. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But
I will say I was more surprised about it than I was originally.
Yes. I'm pretty sure everybody felt the same way that we did. Everybody and their grandma knew who was going to win this match. Anybody who thought Logan Paul was going to win this matchup, I'm sorry. But that's just not going to happen. Just like with the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes, I knew who was going to win that matchup. It was clear as day who was going to win that matchup. Just like the main event was clear as day who was going to win it. Even though the main event was predictable, it was still a good match. It delivered. Logan Paul had some good little spots in there. He did a buckshot lariat, which is anybody who watches AEW, that's Adam Page's finishing move. And he pulled it off, and he did it flawlessly. But before the match, it was showing him training with Shawn Michaels, and it was showing him like doing the move, cutting a front flip over the rope and everything like that. So they kind of called a spot in the matchup. He did his own version of the Superman punch against Roman, and it looked like it connected because our Roman was doing a good job at selling, because even after the match, he was still holding the side of his, like trying to pop his jaw, and stretching out his mouth, trying to pop his jaw and everything like that. But the match was predictable. Everybody knew who was going to win the match, but the match delivered. It wasn't a boring match by any means. Very entertaining matchup. Entertainment-wise, I give it a 3.9, 4, maybe 3.5. 4 at the most, 3.5 at the least. It was definitely more entertaining than the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross match and the Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley match. And the Omos versus Braun Strowman match, of course. But entertainment-wise, it was very entertaining. There was a lot of big spots. I was very surprised with Logan Paul. But
doesn't change the fact.
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact we knew who was going to win this matchup. I just don't like Logan Paul. I don't care for him personally. I'm not his biggest fan. I'm not a big fan of Jake Paul. During the match, the Usos come down to check on Roman, and Logan Paul's friends were like at the barricade. The Usos threw him over the barricade, and they started brawling. And then Jake Paul's music hits. I guess he has his own personal theme music for WWE, and he runs to the ring. He helps his brother out, and then why can't I think of that guy's name? I'm so embarrassed right now. I can't think of his name. Starts with an S. The newest member of the Bloodline from NXT. I cannot think of his name. And I'm so embarrassed that I can't think of his name. He comes out. He takes care of Jake Paul. He pretty much stops Jake Paul from interfering in the match. While that's all going down, Logan Paul jumps over the ropes. He jumps over the rope. He does a dive over the ropes. Very Undertaker-like, where the Undertaker used to dive over the ropes and kind of do the flip. But he jumps over the ropes. He lands on the Usos. He's all hyped. Jake Paul helps Logan Paul back up after the thing. Logan Paul runs back into the ring, and as he rolls into the ring, Roman Reigns Superman punches the shit out of him. Gets in the corner, spears him. 1, 2, 3. That's the end of the matchup right there. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett did an excellent job calling this matchup. There was a lot of close false finishes to where it was 2.9 and it was closer than my butthole and my ball sack on some of the false finishes there. 2.9999999 on some of those. I remember you said you liked one spot in the match, Sky, and I can't remember what it was.
I can't either.
Oh, man.
Oh, the whole YouTube call out?
Yeah. Roman Reigns, that's what it was. Roman Reigns puts Logan Paul in a sleeper hold, and he's talking trash into the camera, looking right at the cameraman, and he's like, "This is my world. This ain't the YouTube world, This is my world. I don't want no other YouTubers coming in my world. No Cutie Pie, no Mr. Beast, and everything like that." And Sky got a good chuckle out of that one. Very entertaining match. Entertainment wise, I give it a 3.5, 4. Like I said, Sky.
I give it about probably 3.5.
3.5. Yeah, all right, yeah. I'll say 3.5. Overall, the pay-per-view kind of felt like a filler pay-per-view. A lot of the matches had storylines moving, like the Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. That's definitely not going to be the last time. If that's the last time they're going at it, then that match was a disappointment. Hopefully, we get two behemoth of men slugging it out in a future matchup in the future. Along with the Drew McIntyre, Karrion Kross, the OC Judgment Day. Those storylines are definitely going to be moving forward coming out of this pay-per-view. Overall, out of 5, a grade rating, I give it a B. Not the worst pay-per-view I've seen, but it's definitely, definitely not the best pay-per-view that I've seen in a while. But it was very entertaining. It was a very good pay-per-view. The matches that I recommend you go watch is the women's tag team title matchup, the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes for the undisputed tag team titles, and the Raw Women's Championship matchup between Bianca Belair and Bayley. Those were the matches of the night for sure. Overall, I give it a B. 3.7 out of 5 stars. Overall, maybe a 4 overall. If I had to give it out of a 5, I give it a 4. Sky, what do you?
4.
You give the pay-per-view a 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad pay-per-view. If you have the Peacock Network and you can watch the pay-per-view, I highly recommend going to watch it. It was very entertaining. It's about 3.5 hours long, but it didn't feel like 3.5 hours long. The matches were at a steady pace. There wasn't really one match that I was bored watching, other than the Braun Strowman Omos match like me and Sky Wutai were saying, we kind of expected a little bit more out of that one, to be honest with you. We definitely expect a little bit more out of that one. But overall, it was a good pay-per-view. We're going to end it here, guys. I guess the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series, and they're bringing back War Games. And they hyped that pay-per-view all night long. War Games, Survivor Series War Games, that they're bringing the War Games match to Survivor Series. And being a fan of heavy metal, and I know Triple H is a fan of heavy metal. His theme song is Sky Wutai is a fan of heavy metal. Triple H being a fan of heavy metal, his theme song's done by the great Lemmy Kilmister of Motorhead. The War Games theme song is War Pigs by Black Sabbath, and that's one of my favorite songs. One of my favorite bands, one of my favorite songs. And it gave me cold chills hearing the sirens go off and them hype about it. I'm really looking forward to reviewing Survivor Series with you, Sky Wutai, and doing another pay-per-view review of Survivor Series. November 26th, Survivor Series. And hopefully we see y'all on that one, guys. My name is DylanDaVillain with my good friend
Sky Wutai.
And like we always say, if you can't play with each other,
play with yourself.